Namaste. Welcome to my podcast. All right. Today's guest is Anjali George. I came across Anjali via social media. I've been following her for a while on Twitter and I was fascinated by a couple of subjects she was very passionate about. Before we get into the details of those subjects, I'll just give you guys a brief background about Anjali. Anjali hails from Kerala. She is interested in history and politics. While she was working for the Kerala government's finance department, she had to move to Germany with her family. So Anjali says, and I'm quoting her, high speed internet and quietness in the new city gave me plenty of time to read and become active on social media. In fact, the panic created by the anarchic tendencies of Kejriwal and AAP made me overactive on Twitter. Twitter world was full of detailed discussions by learned people about dharma and Indian politics. In the course of time, I got associated with people with similar interests on Twitter as well as Facebook and started writing articles regarding the politics, society, and culture of Kerala. Anjali launched the online campaign hashtag Ready to Wait, voicing out the opinion of the women devotees of Lord Ayyappa of Sabarimala, which became viral, as you guys know about. Through the NGO People for Dharma based in Chennai, the voice of Ready to Wait has now reached the Honorable Supreme Court of India. So kudos to Anjali and all the supporters of Ready to Wait for that. Now, this is going to be the first topic of our podcast, FYI. So, now let's get down to details. So, I'm really happy to welcome Anjali. Anjali, how are you doing today?
Hi, Kusha.
So, Anjali,
Yeah.
now I want to start with the basic question. So, to begin with, can you explain to the listeners how and why the Ready to Wait campaign was launched?
Mm, Actually, I mean, as you told before, I mean, in the intro, I was active in the social media, like every internet Hindus. So, meanwhile, we were in the beginning we were talking more political talks, topics, and everything. But in course of time, we came in touch with a lot of issues that is concerning us. I mean, in Kerala. I mean, since I am a Malayali, the in the Facebook where we talk and discuss about the social issues and the political issues in Malayalam. So that's how we got in touch with similar minded people. And in Facebook, it was like, that people talking bad about the India, bad about Hinduism, talking lot of wrong facts about history. They are peddling as the real stories, and most of them were the leftist ideology. And never was a leftist, so it pretty much was clear where to stand. So because of which, I seeing all these attacks, somehow we wanted to find out the actual truth and dig deeply to find out what exactly the things are. So that's how the similar minded people came together. In, when somebody put a Facebook post and all, you get you comments, and the similar minded people, it's easy to recognize such people. So in course of time, and once we noticed that this Rahul Ishwar, yeah, I think everybody know about him, that he's the grandson of the daughter son of the Sabarimala Tantri. So Rahul Ishwar is a non-Hindu leader in Kerala. And in his Facebook wall, I mean, somebody has told me that in his Facebook wall, he has written about a Christian figure in Ayyappa legend. So actually, we all means there were many other people whom I got in touch with in social media and became good friends. With all these people, everybody was telling, what is he talking about? That a Christian missionary guy from Portugal or somewhere came to India, and he became a friend of Ayyappa, and he gave admission to Ayyappa in Kalari. And there is a church in Kerala, in Arthungal, Saint Sebastian Church, and that church is now projected as a place where this Veluttachan, the white father or white priest, whoever, was the Christian friend of Ayyappa, who have helped him during his difficult times. And that man's church is this is Arthungal church. And the church has made a lot of stories, and a lot of gullible devotees of Ayyappa coming from distant places like Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, they have been visiting this church also, and they brought up a new tradition, that new ritual. It cannot be tradition, because something which is new, it cannot be a tradition. So new ritual, that the people, the mala you wear as a part of the Vradam for Ayyappa Sabarimala pilgrimage, that you remove there in front of this, in this Christian church. And this Christian distortion, appropriation of the Ayyappa pilgrimage, then Rahuleshwar is promoting that. That really made us too agitated, and that made us make a small group, and we wanted to find out the truth behind this Velutachan story. And one of the friend, Padma Pillai, I think everybody know about Padma Pillai. She has been in Ready to Wait, and she actually asked Rahul Ishwar, from where you got all these details, and I mean, what is your source? Then he gave phone numbers of some people, and I think he didn't expect anyone to call them. But Padma actually called those people who are related to the from the families which are related to the Ayyappa legend. You know, that Kalari family, and the families who are actively in the various rituals associated with the pilgrimage. So when she called them and talked to them, what we could understand is that all these associated families, the families who are actually associated with the Ayyappa legend, the Hindu families, they are not at all recognized, or they don't get any publicity. They are not anywhere in the limelight or anywhere. Instead, and they also have been telling about a Velutta, a man named Velutta, who is a fisherman. I mean, a fisherman in 15th century or 10th century cannot be a Christian. And this Velutta was the man, the friend of Ayyappa, Manikandan, who actually might be the actual Velutta person in this story. And the Christians, they made the story behind the using this one figure called Velutta, and put him into the Christian version of the story, and made him a equivalent to Saint Sebastian, who actually was in Italy or somewhere. And there was another missionary who actually founded this Artungal temple. I think he founded it. I exactly don't remember the fact, but that is some Finicio, one Portuguese guy named Finicio. And this Finicio is actually a Portuguese missionary. And the church actually is not giving too much clarity about if Finicio is what they mean by Velutachan, or Saint Sebastian is whom they mean by Velutachan. But anyway, this Velutachan distortion story, which the church want to put into the Sabarimala pilgrimage, so that they can appropriate the legend, like how the Vavar legend has been squeezed into the Ayyappa story. And Rahul Ishwar was helping it, and he is the major proponent. I never heard anyone else, other than some padres and the church authorities, anyone else from the Hindu side have never been talking about these things nowadays actively. And he has been pushing this Velutachan everywhere. So that actually made us form a group and to find out the facts behind Sabarimala and everything. So we actually did pretty much good research about Sabarimala, and was doing some discussions also. During this Haji Ali case came up, and Shani Singrapur thing was there. And whenever this Haji Ali or anything regarding women comes up, Arnab Goswami bring up this Sabarimala. I mean, I don't watch any other channels, to be honest, so I don't know what others were doing. I mean, we don't watchfully observe them, but I was watching Times Now regularly, not only me, everybody. And actually, when we were, and meanwhile, there was another one CPM leader, a woman leader, was mocking Ayyappa, calling that is your God so weak that he cannot withstand his brahmacharya. I mean, they are reading brahmacharya as celibacy, just celibacy in English. And they were mocking. So that sort of mockery on our gods. And this Arnab Goswami's and the Times Now channels had very big debate on Haji Ali, and in that all they were bringing up this. Everybody is bringing up Sabarimala there, although this both don't have any relation with each other. Like now in Triple Talaq, Indra Jaising and all have been bringing up Sabarimala unnecessarily. I mean, when you are talking about Muslim topic, let you deal with it. Why are you bringing Hindu temples and everything as if anybody can come and discuss, talk anything about it? So that made us a bit agitated. So then we actually thought what we can do against it. Then one real big tool what we have is social media. So we thought we can really, while watching this Times Now debate, we thought we should put some hashtag and then we have to tweet to Arnab and ask why he is doing this. So actually, at that moment, in that agitated mood, we created this hashtag ready to wait and tweeted some tweets. And then we thought, okay, we have to put a statement of ourselves that these leftist feminists who have no devotion to any of our gods, they are actually fighting for the right to pray. It's like, you don't care for our gods, but you want to pray. Suddenly, why you want to pray to our gods? Just because just for the sake of desecrating our temples. So we actually thought, okay, we have to make a stand. We have to tell that there is a difference between women devotees of Ayyappa, means the women who are actually devotees of Ayyappa, and the women who have never heard of Ayyappa, and just because some NGO sponsors told you to talk for that, oh, I want to pray, till then you have been staunch leftists and atheists. You have no role in our temple, you have no role in our way of life. Then why should you talk for us? We educated women, we know how to speak, we know how to tell our side, and nobody listen to us just because they don't want us to speak. All these years these leftist feminists have been talking on behalf of the Hindu women. So we thought we should give a statement like that, and we thought what we can do. And then this idea of making a placard with the hashtag and posting our photos. I mean, photos always will give a strong message. So that's how we started. And that one post I put went viral. And subsequently everybody got a lot of media people came to us to ask about what is this and why are you doing this and stuff like that. And in 2 days, like, it's happened in Friday evening. The Haji Ali debate of Times Now was on Friday evening, and we uploaded the photo on Saturday, or I think we did it on Saturday. And on by Monday evening, Times Now debate news hour conducted a debate on ready to wait and right to pray, and every media took it up, and it went big. So that's how this ready to wait campaign started and became successful.
Okay, thanks for that elaborate explanation. Now, 2 3 points out of what you explained till now to me. Now, point number one, see, there are in my view there are two layers to this argument. One layer is what I call, for lack of words, the spiritual or dharmic layer. And the second is, I mean, we can't avoid the fact that we live in a constitutional democracy, and we have to accept that. And while we are in a constitutional system, so there is a legal argument. Now, this whole angle, from what I've understood, we have a right to pray. I mean, personally, I mean, you know very well, I'm a Nirishwarvadi. I mean, I'm not someone who is very much into the whole, I believe in God thing. But my whole angle, the reason I supported you guys in Ready to Wait, and it's very important that the listeners also get it. Why, they would be wondering, why is a Nirishwarvadi talking to a devout, Ayyappa devotee. So, I want to clarify that. My view is very clear. The state has no business telling a temple what they should do and what they should not do. Now they'll say, oh, then the state should not say something to Haji Ali. There's a huge difference. You're comparing apples and oranges. Now, in the particular case of Haji Ali, where women are not allowed inside the shrine or the Sufi shrine, I say, you know what? Fair enough. If Haji Ali wants to do that, let them do that. But a comparison to triple talaq and Ayyappa is not fair. Triple talaq is somewhere where women are dehumanized. Nobody is dehumanizing anyone in the case of Sabarimala. So that's my angle. Now I can give you a parallel example from America, where somebody who is a devout Christian, he's a baker, and if he or she says that I don't want to bake a cake for a gay Christian wedding, he's entitled. And now the same left in America is forcing that particular person to bake a cake. So that's where I come from. But I had a separate question to you. Fair enough. I get the entire argument, but what if someone from within the Hindu community came up to you and said, and don't get me wrong, because somebody has to ask this question, what if some Hindu women who are believers, they come and say that, okay, we understand where you're coming from, and you say you are willing to wait, and I think there is a particular age limit. After that, women can come and enter the temple premises or something of that sort. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, what if they say, we don't like that, we still want to be Hindu, and we won't go to that temple? What would be your answer to something like that?
First of all, Hinduism is not a religion but a way of life. That is the famed quote and quote we use according to our convenience whenever we want to prove ourselves as a very broad-minded people. And whenever we want to change the way a Hindu live, or the change or subjugate a particular tradition of Hinduism, become the reformer of the Hindus, immediately Hinduism turns out to be a religion. That is a duplicity we all, in this Hindu community or the Hindu activism themselves exhibit always, to be honest. And let us take the argument Hinduism is not a religion but a way of life, and we say Sanatana Dharma is what we call as Hinduism now, because everybody used to we started calling us Hindu is Hindu. And when this Abrahamism came to our arena, we have had to distinguish ourselves from the other religions. That's how we started to call us as, define us as a religion and Hinduism. So if we take a Sanatana Dharma cannot be equated with the usual organized religions of Abrahamism, not even to the organized religion of leftism. And with all these parameters of the 19th century, 18th century enlightenment of the Western Christian world, we cannot define the ways and means of the Hindu society. First of all, we are a totally different civilization. While keeping that in mind, let me tell you that in Sanatana Dharma, there are various types of sambradayas or systems or traditions. I don't know what exactly we have to call that in English, but so there is different sambradaya. So a particular person of a particular sambradaya may not understand the rights and ways of another sambradaya. So when he cannot understand that, he have not put much effort to learn it as it is and see it how it is, then he has no right to judge and impose his perspective on that particular other alien sambradaya. That is my opinion about Hindus giving directions to the Hindus on how to follow his own traditions. Because see, Kerala temples are, I don't have much knowledge about all these things, so I cannot be so in full adhikara, I cannot talk all these things. But in broadly, roughly, I can say one thing, that Kerala temples are different from, I mean, follow a totally different system from the rest of India, to one thing. And in that system of temples, in temple worship in Kerala, the deity, I mean, temple is not a conference hall, first of all, and nobody has that, nobody is entitled to be in the as a part of the rituals and rites offering to the god. So it's more private. It's the house of that god. And that god means, see, for example, if I'm taking Sabarimala temple is a temple of Shasta, Dharma Shasta. So the ancient worship system of Kerala is Shasta and Kali worship, Devi worship. And Ayyappa was an avatar of Shasta, and he, as a Balaga, he was a boy. I mean, in his teens, he came back to Shasta again. That's the legend. So he is sitting there as a brahmachari, and brahmachari who is in his teens, that gives us, when I tell that he is a brahmachari, that means it's not that he is a celibate like a Roman Catholic padre. It's not like that. It's that he is a student who is in his Naishtika Brahmacharya mode. So, I mean, that is not what I wanted to say. The point here is so understanding all these things, and then the people who, including Hindus, who tell that they want to, I believe in Ayyappa, I want to visit, to have darshan of Sabarimala Ayyappa. See, if you believe in Ayyappa, you can go to lot of Ayyappa temples. There are a lot of Ayyappa temples in this world, including in US and in Delhi, in Hyderabad, and all around Kerala. There is lot of Ayyappa temples. There all women can go. And in Sabarimala, women of any age can go. And in Sabarimala, the deity, the murti is having the bhava of this, the brahmacharya, and you need to follow this vratam of 41 days. Strict penance. I don't know if we can use the word penance for vratam. But anyway, the vratam where the guys follow certain strict rituals and strict life, like an ascetic, and they go to this pilgrimage. So during this 41 days vratam, if a woman is doing vratam, before that, coming to woman, let me tell, in this 41 days vratam, when this is actually a journey and the pilgrimage to the Sabarimala. So this 41 days vratam and the pilgrimage to Sabarimala is actually a journey to reach the state of Ayyappa. So that is how, when you take this 41 days vratam and reach the temple, and before climbing that 18 steps, when you look, you will see Tattvamasi written there. Means once you go through all this vratam and a journey, once you reach there, you understand Tattvamasi. So that is the essence of the pilgrimage. So in that, when that pilgrimage is as such, how can a woman in her fertile age be like that? Because see, our religion or Sanat Dharma is very much in congruence with the nature. So the natural responsibility of a woman who is fertile, I mean, only woman can carry life. So she has to carry life. So she is a life-giving force. And a man who is taking this vratam is actually killing the life in him by following strict rules and reaching there as an ascetic. So a grihasti is not supposed to be an ascetic. That is the basic thing here. So then, when a woman just come and tell, I believe in Ayyappa, I want to go there, that means she don't believe in the actual entire essence of this particular pilgrimage and this temple. Even if you say you believe, if you believe, you are ready to succumb to the ways of your murti. And how you know the ways of the murti? No courts can say how the murti function. Or
so just one just to clarify. So basically, you're saying people who do say things like this are basically like those people who want to lose weight as they eat a chocolate chip cookie.
yeah,
Okay, got
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you can believe in Ayyappa, mm? But then you can go to those Ayyappas where the Ayyappa is fine with the way you believe. In Sabarimala, Ayyappa is not fine with the way you believe. Because we have a system called Deva Prashnam. Using Deva Prashnam, you can actually know the will of the God. That is what we consider as the reason to, I mean, the way to decide on the our will of the God, will of the
Okay, to
deity.
summarize, so now to summarize what you have said, what your point basically is that it is not that there aren't Ayyappa temples which do allow women. In fact, I think there are only a couple of temples where this whole brouhaha is about. And if you really do want to worship, why don't you go to another temple? Why do you want to change the core of this temple? Because unlike Abrahamic religions, dharmic sampradayas or dharmic darshanas are a bottom up system where they are decentralized. So each and every temple has its own story. And if you want to be a devotee of that temple, you have to go by the story of that temple. And if you don't like the story of that temple, dharma itself is flexible enough, which gives you the permission to make a temple right next to the other temple and you can go to that temple, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because see, let me tell you an example. Because see, we all are lay people. We just have we just is telling what we understand from all these bits and pieces. But let me tell, Sri Narayana Guru, he was a sannyasi, a person who have known the Brahman. So Sri Narayana Guru is considered to be a great social reformer of the 19th century. And he is considered to be the person who emancipated the Ijava community, which is an OBC community. And he also hailed as the person who made temples for the Ijava communities. And once, when he did an installation, Pradishta of Shiva, lingam in a temple, they asked, I mean, that's a Brahminical god, or I think I saw. Exactly what they asked, I don't remember. But then he told, I installed a Ijava Shiva. Hmm? Means if somebody felt bad for him, doing the normal so-called Brahminical rituals or the upper caste rituals, so-called, then they asked, and then he told, no, I installed a Irava Shiva. Shiva is for everyone, and if somebody has trouble with Iravas worshipping Shiva, I am actually installing a Shiva of Irava. So what's the point here? That was what he that actually what he told. That actually gives a big message. And he didn't go to any temple, any existing temple, and remove the deity there, or evicted the people there, or gate crashed in there to change the social system. What he did is he made new temples. And so that is why now this Irava communities governed. There are a lot of temples in Kerala which are governed by Irava community, means the SNDP, Sri Narayana Dharma Pariparana Sangham, because he didn't want to encroach into the existing system, because he knew that our temples are powerhouses. Our temples actually are a abode of energy, which actually maintain the balance of our land. So that is the basic essence of our nations, our country's, existence itself. Then how can we lesser creatures meddle with all these things? So if we don't regard all this power and energy and everything, and then you just tell, why should not I question, like any Christian, Protestant questioned his Catholic religion, or any Marx, how the Marxists questioned the Catholic Christian things in Europe. See, that is why I told there is a difference. There is a difference between the way our civilization originated and functions and has been going through all these centuries, and how the Western civilization works and thinks and act. So there is a difference, and we have to understand that difference, and we have to recognize the identity of our community or our land, not just the community, our nation.
All right. Just to add one last point, so that we can go on to the next question, which I wanted to ask you. So, according to me, questioning is not really that big a problem. Anybody can question anyone, but the point is there can be multiple solutions to the same problem. Now, the solution you are giving is don't like the temple, build near a new temple, or go to another temple. But the problem with the secular homogenizers, as I call them, I mean, I have no problem with secularism at a conceptual level, but the secular homogenization of the leftists is something is actually very religious in nature. But anyways, now I want to go to the next question, and this is in relation to 3 articles that I've read that you wrote on Swarajya along with Jay Shankar. So the first article was why communist brutality against BJP workers is simply a survival tactic. The second was soft corner for communists. What else explains media's silence on the Tannur riots in Kerala? And the third one was no place for Adivasis and SCs in the Kerala model. First of all, I really liked all 3 of them. And guys, I'm going to leave the link for all 3 articles in the description of the podcast, so that if you guys want to read that, you can go there. Now, Anjali, my first question is like, what is exactly happening in Kerala? And how is the change in demography, in Kerala affecting the Hindus? So I'm just going to ask you 2-3 questions, so that because in a podcast I want to save on time, and then you can talk non-stop about those questions. So basically what I wanted to ask was, what problems are Hindus facing in Kerala, and what percentage of the Muslim society do you think is seriously radicalized in Kerala? I mean, we've recently seen the news where, IS recruits have been going from Kerala. Now, how do we come out of this? And obviously there is the other angle, which is the Christian angle. And one thing has always puzzled me. Now, worldwide, you see this problem between the Christian community and the Muslim community. But in India, it's very unique. In Kerala, it's almost as if the Christians and Muslims have come together against the Hindus, or that's what the media wants us to portray. And I mean, you can completely dismiss this. And you can say, well, no, people are actually living very happily together, and maybe everything that has been exaggerated is wrong. So anyways, can you explain the whole Kerala communist and the entire angle on the podcast, which you have mentioned on your articles also?
So, to be start with, Kerala is the best, the perfect place where this social engineering of the colonial forces have been perfected in India. I mean, they have done social engineering in almost all the colonies, but Kerala is the perfect place where they did. Meanwhile, I mean, before the colonialists, the Western colonialists came to India, there have been Muslims here. So there is Muslims in Kerala also, and even then, there is in Kerala they were both Muslims and Christians, with the help of communists, who are their blood brothers, successfully could peddle this myth that Christianity and Islam came peacefully to Kerala, while to the rest of India, Islam came through invasion. And in order to substantiate all this, the leftist academia completely prevented any research on the medieval Kerala with a honest academic interest. So because of which, we actually lack a lot of information regarding medieval Kerala. And when we look at the Christian-Muslim relationship in Kerala, during just before the Kerala elections of the Kerala Legislative Assembly 2 years last year, the Catholic Church spokesperson had written a mouthpiece article, an opinion article in one newspaper. In that, he told that Hindus don't have a single father, but we have a single father. So it is our duty to be together because we are brothers. What does that means? So that was the opinion he pushed when there was a movement for a Hindu unification under the leadership of the SNDP leader Vellapalli Nadeshan. He was doing a all Kerala yatra, Samatva Munneta yatra or something like that, a big Ratha yatra like yatra he was doing along with various caste leaders. So caste community leaders. So there was a clear cut notion of a broad Hindu unification in political lines. That clearly panicked the church, and then that panic came out as the call for a Christian Muslim unity. Then things changed because after all, the radicalization of Islam in Kerala is actually affecting both the communities, Hindu and Christian. Because, for example, this love jihad thing, basically, church was the one of the first people who have talked about love jihad. And during that time, even the CPM leader, then Chief Minister V.S. Achuthanandan also agreed that there is a concerted attempt to lure the girls from the other communities into Islam through love, and marriage. So later on, everything changed out, and the leftist coterie started to deny the existence of love jihad because they had vested interest with regard to the Islamic community. But so the church actually have better grip on the families under it. So so they could manage the girls or prevent the girls from eloping with some Muslim people, but without making any noise. That they can use their confession boxes, they can use their this charismatic retreat prayer centers, and everywhere there they can establish an intimate relation between the or find out the girl or control the girls. But the Hindu community don't have such any mechanism, because of which, and we Hindus are more naive, and when they see something they just talk it loud. So we see, and everybody, there is nobody to support Hindus in the media also, because of which we see only Hindus talking about love jihad. So this is the two aspect of from the Christian perspective, politically and socially and every way, their primary motive is against Hindus, and but they have no love for Islam either, because Muslims are also their enemies. Both are their problem. So and another problem in Kerala is this demographic change. So the Malappuram district is a purely Muslim majority district. So the huge number of Muslims in the Malabar area primarily is caused by the invasion of Tipu Sultan. So, mass attack, and then he converted a lot of people under the at sword point. So, a lot of people became Muslims. And if we keenly observe and read in between line in that various history books, we can find out that from Tipu Sultan's attack time to these Mapla riots of 1921, there have been systematic attack on Hindus of that region. This Malabar, Malappuram, present-day Malappuram Calicut region, the Valluvanad region, there have been Eranad region. There have been systematic attack on Hindu aristocracy. Because I have seen in 1800 something, 50 something or so, I read in one history book that one is Muslim one Hindu aristocratic family has been attacked by random Muslims at night. like exactly how these Naxal people have attacked the aristocratic family. I mean, in my home district itself. I mean, that's how this Naxals executed their plan of action on the landlords. That is the same method I felt. I mean, I myself felt while reading it that this is the same method, that they went and killed this Hindu people, and the surname of that person, that Hindu landlord, is Tangal. And now, if you see, the surname of the lot of Muslim people is Tangal only. I mean, I don't know if I may get into some controversy because of this. I am not sure, but that is what I saw in a history book. Which book I don't remember, but so there has been systematic attacks on Hindus in course of time in Malabar, and that got culminated, or in a mass scale. There was a huge attack during the Mopla riots, which actually started as a Khilafat movement, and then it turned out to be an opportunity used by the Muslim marauders to execute the Hindu community and or convert the Hindus or execute their jihad. And irony is that after Kerala became independent, the communist government made this gave freedom fighters pension for this Mapla riot. People who participated in Mapla riots, and including
Basically, people who killed Hindus were given pensions.
yeah.
How nice.
Because see, the Marxist historians, our famed eminent historians, we have learned that in his textbooks like that it was not Mopla riots. We see it was Malabar rebellion, a peasant revolt against the oppressive landlords. How nice. They put their entire Marxian feudalistic narrative in the Europe into in narrating our historical, our social relationships. And then they defined it that way, and they whitewashed the crime against Hindus. And then so demographic shift is not just because suddenly due to radicalization, Muslims started breeding out. That is not the the Muslims have a lot of making lot of children. I have seen in Calicut Medical College, in myself, a lot of Muslim women with the 10th child and all. So even if we are not looking into the census data, we can clearly say that they have many children, and Hindus barely have some children. I mean, without looking at any facts. But even if we look at the data.
Anjali, sorry, I have to come in here. Sorry about this.
Yeah.
Sorry to break you off. Now, here's my problem. Now, we know these realities. Actually, it is more accentuated in Kerala. It might be similar in different parts of India. Let's say Bengal and Uttar Pradesh and many other areas. We all know that the Muslim population demography increases. And, Kashmir is a prime example of that. When the population of Muslims in a particular area reaches a critical mass, problems happen. Now, while we say that, we cannot generalize. I mean, I know you believe that too, because when we had our elongated telephonic conversation about doing this podcast, you had mentioned this to me too, that the toughest aspect of this is how do you identify which element within the Muslim Samaj is radicalized. Two, how do we solve this demography problem? Because I remember, I think it was Subramanian Swami who had said that even within, if you study the birth rates, that the birth rates amongst Muslims in Kerala is much, much lower than the birth rates, let's say, in Muslims in Uttar Pradesh. I think it was Subramanian Swami who had mentioned this part. Now, they are there. They are very much a part of this society. They are as Indian as you and I. And yeah, they belong to a different religion. So how do we solve this problem? See, we can constantly complain about conversion. Now, somebody will say ban conversion. Now, that's not either your prerogative or my prerogative. That's for the parliamentarians, and somebody can go and file a court case and they can look at that matter. But my question is, now we know this problem is there, and when the demography of India changes, there is a direct threat to democracy. Like in Kashmir, I believe Islam is incompatible with democracy at a conceptual level. Again, I'm not saying Muslims are incompatible with democracy, because if they were, India would be having a problem which will be 5,000 times more than what it does. But while we know this problem exists, what do you think in the specific context of Kerala? What do we do to improve these relations? See, we all know there is a problem. Everybody knows. It's like the big elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. And in India, it's actually quite hilarious. We think by not talking about problems, we're somehow going to solve them. My question to you is, as someone who is born and raised in Kerala, how do you solve this conflict in between different religions?
So let me say, see, the point here is, I don't consider that the Muslims are the only problem in Kerala. First of all, Muslims, see, I myself know a lot of Muslims who I grew up in a neighborhood where there is a lot of Muslim families. First of all, and see, there are a lot of Muslims in Kerala who are actually equally worried about the radicalization of Muslims, or you cannot this Arabization. When you see, I recently somebody told me that an old man told him very, he was so disgusted seeing a woman in burqa. Why these people are dressing like Arabs? We are not Arabs. We have our culture and the way of our land. Why they are following that? He was complaining, and he is a Muslim man. And I saw my neighbor. He is actually worried about his children being in touch with the radical elements. So this radicalization is going on, happening the same way how much it is happening in rest of India. But there is a lot of Muslims who are really worried about this radicalization, if we talk about Muslims. And if when then we come to the other community. See, whenever all of us always forget to address the other community. The other community is this Christian community. See, church has offered reward for its people for making more children, and that was public offering, 10,000 rupees or something. That was some years ago, and it didn't make a controversy. But when a Hindu make a offer or some sort of a talk like I did just a few minutes ago, it become a huge controversy. So that we have to understand that in order to combat the demographic fall, because TFR in Kerala is really low compared to rest of India in total. And if you look at the Muslims also, it is lower than the rest of India. That is true. So the TFR, the fertility rate of the Hindus and so the Christians have found out the way that we have to increase the TFR. We have to make more children. So they are telling their kids, their people, to make more children. And Hindus indulge talking against or complaining about all these things and talking against everybody, and nobody talk about a solution. That is the basic problem we face, actually speaking. So I think the Hindus have to actively address this issue. The Hindu leaders have to actively address this issue, and and to come into a conscious attempt to address these issues. And I think in Kerala, basically the demographic problems, which the people outside Kerala is very much worried about we're not worried very much. They are more aware of the statistics. And in Kerala, the Hindus personally, it is very poor, economically very poor, which makes it too difficult for Hindus to do something that is only in that particular areas. That is again the point. I'm talking about as a person who is from Malabar, in that particular pockets where there is a demographic more minority community in majority, like Muslims or Christians, both. In southern Kerala, there are many places where Christians are majority. There is problems between Christians and Hindus, and that was recently this that fisherman community. One fisherman who crossed the border of the Christian territory in the sea was caught by the Christian fisherman and was tied up in a church. That didn't came into any news, only in one Malayalam or something. So similar events, and later it all turned out, nobody wanted to make it a communal issue or tell it as a communal issue. So basically Hindus are facing the problem from both the communities. So when any of this minority community become the majority, there will be clear cut threat for our democracy, like what happened in Northeast, like what happened in Kashmir and in Malda, or so there is this problem in Kerala, and the only hope is to get a government which is not into maintaining status quo. That is one solution which I can tell. And the other thing is Hindus have to be aware of their roots and get to know how because see actually Hindus being aware of the roots also. Majority Hindus in Kerala are very pious and devout Hindus. They are, even a lot of communists are regular temple goers. So that is another dichotomy in Kerala. So if we look at
So communists go to temples.
see all this big, Kerala's temples are really powerful temples, and that power and that ingrained in our in the people. No, there are you cannot completely deny that existence of the power and have a peaceful life. That is very difficult. And
Yeah, I get it, because if you drive down from Mumbai to Goa, and while you start going towards Goa, you see a lot of churches on the highway, or you'll start seeing a lot of crosses on the highway. And it's actually quite funny. You'll see people putting a har on the cross. I mean, isn't that committing blasphemy? According to Christianity, you're basically making the idol into a murti when you put a har on it. And every time I've crossed by, in my head I just say, only in India can we do these kinds of things. And I don't know what to say. You can laugh about it. You can feel, actually, in a way, you feel happy about it, that these guys have not completely Abrahamized themselves, and they still keep some aspects of their, native identity in their thing. But, my problem, see, I'll tell you what my problem is. I understand the problem exists, but my problem is when some moron gets up, in Uttar Pradesh. I'm not saying this is a problem in Kerala, because I know it's not in Kerala, but I don't know what is going to happen in the future, but some moron in Uttar Pradesh on the Hindu side or the Muslim side and start making babies, as if women are nothing but baby making factories in this country. And they just say these things at the drop of a hat. And then you just look at them and say, kya baat kar raha hai? This is my worry. Luckily in Kerala, the education levels are high, so the birth rate is not that much of an issue. But I genuinely hope that something is done about it.
But the point thing is, when a Hindu guy start making babies, we feel bad, and Hindus tell kya baat kar rahe hain, and the Hindus will go away. But when the church is actually doing that, the others are the Muslims are also doing that. So when they are a church, but then also you cannot control the Christian women as much as Muslim women are controlled by the Muslim community. So it's not that rampant like the Muslims, that the Christians are making too much babies. But even then, the Kerala church have offered reward, and there are a lot of people I can see now, more new generation, our young generation are making more babies. So making more babies is a solution found by the others, and they are doing it. Then in that case, seeing that if some Hindus say make more babies, see, he is just saying it out of his desperation. I mean, you have to find some solution for all these problems, right? I mean, then we have to, everybody feel like what can we offer? See, when you asked what solution, actually, I don't know what solution basically. I mean, making babies is hypothetically that is a good solution, but how much it is practicable and how much it work and everything. I mean, we cannot just see. First of all, the Hindu community is poor. Economically, in Kerala, Hindu community is the backward community, thanks to the land reforms of communist government. I mean, that is one major reason why Hindu community ceased to be land. And the enormous level of help given by the British for the newly converted Christians to conquer the unexplored lands of the Western Ghats. And the communist government and the Kerala's, so all the governments, including the communists and the others, also allowed the Christian community to make more and more plantations in the Western Ghats, while they snatched away the lands of the Hindu community and fragmentized it into small pieces. And the lower caste Hindus who were the agricultural laborers and all, they were offered that you will be owner of the land where you work. But what was the that flowery dream which was offered by the communists. But what happened in reality? They gave the 5 cent small strips of land where you can just make a house, and for each people. And later that became small ghettos, like not exactly like slums, better than slums, but they reduced to be living in a sort of a ghetto. And also, and they have, see, if there is no agricultural labor, there is no job for you to do, then you cannot raise your children well. So they all became so impoverished economically, which cause which helped the anti-national elements to grab their children, not anti-national, sorry, anti-social elements to grab their children into and many gangsters and all those things. And missionaries got a free run there to come and convert. Where there is poverty, you can convert easily. And you actually made them more poor by putting them in some ghettos. And that is also a reason why you see a lot of Hindus going to Gulf. Because if you want to have a decent living, you need money. For that, you have to leave your place and go somewhere and work where you get the money. So economically, Hindus are very backward. And on the other hand, the Christian community really got a lot of land in the Western Ghats. Our Western Ghats is literally a Christian territory, if I am being politically incorrect. And that definitely have affected the Adivasis there, because all these people who went, they didn't got the forest land where there was no human beings. There were Adivasis, and Adivasis are Hindus. They are also in part of Hindus community, and these Adivasis, they lost their land, they lost their life. And in my district, the Adivasi communities were sold as slaves of these Christian landlords. Majority were Christian landlords. There were existing landlords also, but so that was happening in some, and there were a lot of unmarried women, Adivasi women, giving birth to children. That all were a lot of social problems among the Adivasi community. And recently, if you see if you look at the infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, this Adivasi community population, Vanavasis of Kerala, is way below the national average, and they are in par with African countries. So when we talk about the educated Kerala, also nice, very empowered Kerala, there is another side of Kerala which is lagging behind, and that area, that population which lags behind is also Hindus. And that is primary responsibility of this pathetic situation I will attribute to the leftists, because their faulty worldview and their faulty social engineering has caused all these things. So the rampant destruction of the environment. Kerala is God's own country, no? But now it is heading towards desertification. This time there was a severe drought, and the government was planning to do cloud seeding. See how nice, 44 rivers in that small strip of land, but you don't have water to drink. So that sort of all sort of bad effects of the materialist, greedy, techniques came with the Abrahamic worldview. That is a huge problem for Kerala, and because our lifestyle was very much in par with nature, and that all gone. And I hope there will be a change in the perspective with a change in the government style, and that might help. That's what we can hope
So,
for.
on that note, which is, by the way, a very somber note, where somewhere in my head, I'm saying we're fucked. So, I don't know what else to say about that. But we've touched the 1 hour mark. So, yeah, we were fine. So, we did not cross that mark. So, I'm really thankful to you, Anjali, that you actually agreed to come on my podcast, because you know what happens is, a lot of times when people write articles, and in fact, I had written an article where I shared some research that 60% of the articles are just clicked on, and nobody reads the content. And nowadays, slowly but surely, podcasting is picking up in India, and people actually like to listen to a podcast while they are going for a walk or driving to work. So once again, thanks a lot, Anjali, for doing this. And hopefully somebody listening to this, if you guys really think that there is a solution to the problems Anjali is raising, where there is no violence involved, you should contact Anjali on Twitter, and you can contact me on Twitter too. I will add both our handles on the description of the podcast. So, Anjali, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for,
All right.
yeah.
Uh, so, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.